A lot of conversations about Muslim men and Muslim women are turning into gender wars. And in this episode, we unpack why that's happening from culture, social media, and influencer trends, and why this is hurting our community more than helping it. So, you know what the perception is of like non-Muslims, like the kuffar? They'll be like, Muslim men, they oppress their women. They don't love their women. And obviously, this is wild craziness, madness, right? And then, but then, like now, like being a Muslim now for several years, there, there also seems to be like a gender divide, almost like I don't know, it's this hype term, but like gender wars. And this is quite, for me, this is like probably this is the least thing I suspected, like to be present amongst us as Muslim in the Muslim community, just for like so many reasons, right? Because, well, first of all, like if like say with these right wing people, these people who hate Islam, usually they target the Muslim sisters, right? And so you'd think that there'd be quite a strong bond and unity, like with those sisters. But then you kind of dig under the surface. There is seems to be like a growing sentiment energy where that divide, like there is that affinity is like not as strong. And then there's like, and then we talked about like, and people will describe, oh, there's the feminism, and then the kind of red pill ideology seeping in, and it's been brought into the Muslim community, and people are tracing it back to like, oh, when Andrew Tate accepted Islam and things like that nature. I'm just kind of giving a rough timeline just to kind of set the kind of framework for the discussion we're going to have on this episode, inshallah. But I just wanted to ask, like, was that always present? Did Muslim sisters and brothers, like, did they see each other as like enemies? Like, was that always the case? Like, or is this like elements coming in from like wider society where it's known that like men and women have like issues, and I remember being young and then be like shows like Battle of the Sexes, and it was almost like promoted and like used as a selling case for like TV shows and things like that, like to kind of further that divide. But I'm just I'm just been taken back that it's also present amongst like Muslims where it just doesn't really serve a greater good from what I'm seeing. I just wanted to get your take since you've been obviously a born Muslim.
Yeah,
And
I think it's honestly the last 2 weeks has opened my eyes a lot to gender wars, specifically with the content online. A lot has happened. A lot of documentaries have popped up about certain individuals. Um, Also, locally, I've actually seen a lot of fear in the face of a lot of sisters, or at least through their expressions and the way they deal with other brothers. I've never felt it that heavily. I have gone through it where a sister has not liked me simply because of the way I look and dress, but it's just like, but where did that come from? It came from really bad experiences with guys who look and dress like me, despite the fact that we're both Muslim.
right,
And yes, that was the first time really when I went deep into charity work, because it's just Muslim charities. It's filled with brothers and sisters, hijabis, non-hijabis, brothers who have beards, some shave it, some are players, playboys. It just is what it is. You find a
okay,
mix of different people,
right,
but unfortunately, some sisters are extremely like, you should be cautious anyway. You don't want a free mix, but they would think that I was a threat. There's a difference between, you think that I should stay away from him because of the sake of it and something might go wrong, but then there's, he might harm me or he might try to manipulate me, and that was
okay,
a huge thing that I never thought about in a very long time until the last 2 weeks. That did happen to me when I was around 16, 17, 18. Because I had a good reputation in the community and with other sisters, like, this guy's not a weirdo, it died down really quick. But I did have a sister come up and apologize and even say, you know, I, you're okay. Simply, you're okay. but they're not okay. I was like, what do you mean? Because what happened was my sisters and my cousins are also involved in these community projects. So
Okay.
what happened was once they got to know them, they were like, oh, Numan's not a creep. But then I was in my eyes, just like, you thought I was a creep? Why? Like, I don't even know you. What made you think that? Was it the way I act and speak and dress? No, it's just because another Asian boy or Muslim boy dressed like me, despite the fact he's got a beard and a thobe and a hat and he speaks well, he's also kind of a predator. Or he's a misogynist straight in his heart without him realizing. He looks at sisters as second class citizens. And that is something that I
Hmm.
think a lot of women in a lot of Muslim women feel. And I think a lot of that stems from culture because majority Muslim countries come from cultures that are extremely misogynistic, at least pre-Islam. And it's quite a hard thing to change. But in all
Mm.
honesty, almost every nation in history has had women as slaves or second class citizen at some point, which is also a very, very tough truth to swallow sometimes, that women have been systematically oppressed for generations. So when you bring Islam into it, it doesn't always change someone's upbringing or their nature
Mm-hmm.
that easily. And I was thinking about at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they literally buried their daughters alive. Like it's such an
Mm.
insane thing to think about. They buried them alive, but we already do that in India. Female infanticide and in China is very common. Just kill your babies at birth before they're even born.
Mm.
We, I don't know why we have this thing, and it's honestly I've been thinking so deeply about it in the last 2 weeks because you brought it up to me a couple of weeks ago, and I was deep in discussion, and I think it's because I have the luxury of being around people who aren't that toxic. So
See.
yeah, so I think you actually have a better perspective, a more broader perspective than I did because I was kind of sheltered in that sense. The women around me weren't that hateful. It was only when I went out and worked in different companies and different charities and organizations where I found it was a bit different. But my family's okay. The people I went to school with are okay with me. The people I studied with were okay with me, and I was okay with them. I never looked down on his sister like that. But I think I had the privilege of growing up in a family where, even though it was very traditional, we we never saw them as someone less or an obstacle. Really, someone to be controlled. I know my responsibilities as a man to lead, but it was never seen as woman or someone to be stepped on. If that made sense. Like
Yeah.
I'd lead them, I'd lead them, I'd control, I'd have control in the family. Like I always saw that, but the woman never felt like they were giving up control because there was this kindness, this love, this muhabba, this respect. And I don't think a lot of sisters feel that, especially from the online social media space.
Mm. Right. So that's interesting. There's a couple of things that uh, probably one thing I wanted that came up that I wanted to ask is like, because I remember speaking to a brother who spent 3 years in the UK, but he's like not from the UK. He's actually from a Muslim country, like that's not like South Asian or Desi, and because the majority of the population, right, in the Muslim population in the UK is like what would you say, like 80%, like from the
Oh, the majority of Muslim population, like
in,
what
in the
culture they're from?
UK, in the UK, like
Oh,
the
yeah,
the
it's
South
over
Asian, right?
90% Pakistani.
90% Pakistani. Okay, great.
Yeah,
So he was saying like it's more kind of like as you kind of alluded to, it's like the cultural customs that like people of that part of the world, like what they bring in. It's not necessarily kind of Islam. It's and you kind of mentioned that it, like, would you say like that's kind of like legacy things from like previous faiths before Islam entered, that's kind of
yeah,
like that's still present amongst people, and that maybe not so friendly to the like women and the sisters, and that's what's rubbing them the wrong way, and that's been conflated with, or that's like how Muslims like treat like women from, but it's actually limited to a few certain different cultures or within the.
yeah.
I know
I'd say that too.
we made it specifically to the UK, but it doesn't have to be. But
Yeah,
I guess yeah. I mean that pretty much the whole kind of online Muslim thing is driven by a large.
Yeah.
probably parts from the UK as well. So it's probably worth touching on.
That's interesting. You know, it is. It's either UK or America, but I feel like the UK has a
That's the main
bigger,
hub.
it's the main
Yeah,
hub of where the gender wars are. But I think that's also because UK Dawa is more conservative. American Dawa is more liberal, so
y-
they're more like free and like they're
yeah.
happy for sisters and
Without
brothers
going
to
into
like
the
work.
divide, but keeping
Yeah.
back on the topic of like yeah the male female dynamics in
Mm.
the
But I
um
think that's what's made it kind of harsher in the UK because we're a bit more conservative,
hmm,
we it's supposed to be done the right way. Like obviously you're supposed to be a conservative Muslim. You're supposed to be someone who values the principle of Islam.
yeah, yeah
But
of
it's
course
got to a point where anyone that's not has a mistake or is doing a sin is immediately like chastised. Not in the right way either.
hmm,
And UK has a huge problem with that because it's not just about gender divide. Now there's different sects between like which brother and which friend and which da'i can speak to which da'i, and then you can't merge together,
yeah
right? But the one thing they all like get together on is let's hate sisters. That's the unfortunate truth. Like this is one thing they can all jump around the table, like and sit around a campfire about is talk about how sisters have become tabarijat, which is a problem in itself, true, but there's clearly a failure in advising them the correct way because we've kind of made it as if all women are evil when the reality is they're clearly not.
yeah no I'd agree with that like the whole focus it seems like it went from uh taking responsibility for yourself as a man, fixing up what you can fix up within yourself and within your kind of the people you can influence that are close to you. And then it's just like basically almost turned into like a whole gossiping channel where like almost seems
Yeah,
like on the news and there'll be like the Hollywood Insider and they're like, yeah, inside Hollywood, yeah, what's going on with Ben and Jen and blah 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 on the red carpet, and then it's just like the whole life is just kind of centered around that, and I don't know how that's like m- being made to be masculinity because all these guys are masculine. Like, how is that masculine? What you do is just gossiping online, like, or like how does that like even merge or mix with your message that you need to take responsibility and this and that, but all you're doing is just like going through clips and reacting to like the 1% extreme of the opposite gender, and
yeah,
then
that's
like,
the main thing.
and that's
The
the thing that
1% extreme.
yeah, and then it's just like, and then it's just like, and then the women will be doing that the exact same, and they'll be like, look at them, look at how they just want to lock us up in a shed. You know what I mean? So like, how are you even adding any benefit? But some,
Yeah,
but then it's just like it's to me what I've kind of observed looks like they've like amassed like a core audience where and then only kind of extreme messages like resonates with that audience, and they just want to continually feed that same kind of content that just like riles them up because they want to sell them something, and it's not to
yeah,
their benefit, and they don't care like what kind of damage it does to the wider Muslim community, whether that puts permanent wedges in between like women and men like getting along and actually wanting to help and have that affinity. It's like because if those wedges that doesn't help the Muslim community, but they're talking about somehow restoring and the ummah that's fallen. Like it doesn't work, and they know that they're playing to the algorithm as well. So
yeah,
the people platform these people, and then and like you say, it is a top down approach because yeah, a lot of these major influencers they kind of they do influence a lot of people's mindset, and they um and a lot of people like they've suspended critical thinking because they're so you know what's the word, like they're so like kind of taken by set individual because he has a certain status because they've been rubbing
yeah.
shoulders, been platformed on so many of these.
They idolize them without realizing.
Yeah, so whatever they
Mm.
say, they just take it as fact without even thinking for themselves. Like, is that actually the case? Like, okay, what would if we go down this trend? Like, what would be the eventual outcome? And is this the best way to handle these types of topics, or is this best left not said? because there's already too much of that that's already within the community, and it would actually make things worse.
The
And
thing,
yeah,
that's another thing though. The 1% extreme, like the things they are preaching, isn't the norm to begin with. Like the hate. Sure, okay, a woman who I don't know does one of the videos I've seen, I'm thinking you've seen too, is a sister who puts on her makeup and all this, and her husband puts makeup on her on video to go to the gym. And it's just weird. I don't know what guy would ever do that. Of course, he's like kind of a weak man, as in as a Muslim. He puts on her hijab, and beginning of the video she's never wearing one, so she's uncovered anyway. He puts it on for her. He puts her makeup on, and then he sends her off to the gym, and he comes back. Now, that's a super extreme, but that clearly is not what a normal guy is doing. Now, if you want to call it out and say, look, what are you posting? Okay, but then you make your entire channel about brothers who are weak, useless, and pathetic, and your entire channel about sisters who um, are perverted or twisted, who mock the hijab and the niqab, and also like sexualize their husbands, and then the guys who sexualize their wives online. I get that in itself is wrong. So I also want people to understand, like, we're totally against that. I'm
yeah,
totally
but
against that.
who's finding the clips,
But
bro? Like, what's your algorithm?
exactly,
Like,
like,
how are you
how
finding
do you
these
end
women,
up
bro?
finding
Are you
them?
just like every day is like someone's
Yeah,
wife hijab? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you
yeah.
looking at that content? It's
Exactly,
like
those content only come to me as reactions as well. Like I don't even know where the original content came from. I'm
that
seeing
means
people
you're
react
scouring
to
the
it.
internet every day
Yeah,
looking for women. Is that something a Muslim, practicing Muslim person should be doing? Like,
it's just exactly that's a good point.
and
It's
don't
just
tell me,
as if
oh
like
no, my fan sent me this, bro. No one sent it to you, bro. You
yeah,
scoured the whole TikTok, bro. Just
yeah,
watching all this fitna, just say, oh stuff. So,
yeah,
oh stuff. Oh, okay. This is hard. I'm gonna make. Come on, bro. Don't. We're more men here, man.
yeah,
Don't. Don't insult our intelligence. Is
yeah.
what I'm gonna say. And that
But
and those
and I
videos,
can
bro,
sit
that
here.
doesn't inspire. Okay, okay. Say they do that, and I'm one of their core audience. I'm like, yeah, man, these women are out of whack, bro. And then okay, and then what am I gonna do with that information? I'm gonna be one of their hardcore fanboys, yeah. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, these women are wretched. Um, and then I'm just gonna like, how does that affect me? How does that empower me? Like, am I just
Yeah,
that's just
it just makes you angrier. You can't do anything about it, especially since this
okay?
woman has nothing to do with you. So you're just gonna sit there and keep wallowing in your anger, and then you're gonna hate. You're just gonna
And
build
I'm
that hate
so
until you hate all women.
well, I'm just gonna walk up to the wali and just be raging. I'm like, bro, your daughter needs to act up. Like, needs to clean up. Like, you're just gonna get smacked, bro. Like, that's not how you actually communicate a message if you want someone to change their behavior. Like, even in the workplace, if someone's like not doing their job, they don't just make a reaction video and just play it like on the meeting, bro, and just be like, this is live footage of Noman not working. It's how you view an example. It shouldn't be me, but like, would that like if they just play a whole video in front of the whole like your colleagues and be like, oh man, you're just not working when you should be. Does that would that inspire you to actually like, yeah, you're right. No, you're gonna get defensive. You're gonna get angry, and you're gonna be like, why don't you like talk to me privately about the little, you know what I mean? Like, and they're like, oh, but you did this in public, so I need to call you out in public. This is just this is this is foolishness. And I say this because like I know what it looks like when you kind of do this whole gender wars. And if Muslims can, they're the last, like we're the last people that should be going down this path because as a Muslim, like you don't want to marry a non-Muslim. I mean, if you just want to like just destroy the whole Muslim community and then like women are marrying non-Muslims and Muslim men will just marry non-Muslim women. I'm telling you, like in the West, like from what I've observed, all the Muslim men who end up marrying non-Muslim women, the child never is never like serious about Islam, or they never practice it, or they'll just practice the other religion of the mother. And then if we push the sisters to the point where they don't feel like the love and protection from their own Muslim community, they will marry non-Muslims as much as we know that that's like not correct and it's haram, whatever.
But they
But
have though. That's
people
yeah.
people gonna make business decisions, bro. They're not gonna just live in oppress in a way where they feel like they're not respected, they're not loved. They will marry the non-Muslim, bro. This is
But
and there's nothing that can be done about it. So that is the end result. So, but if you know that's the end result, and all you do is just fuel fire to this, then you're an idiot, bro. You're not doing nothing for the ummah. You're not a lion or whatever delusions that you have, bro. All you're doing is furthering and accelerating the demise of the Muslims in the West. That's all you're doing. Nothing else.
that's such an interesting point you brought up. You put up a point, yeah, that sisters are marrying non-Muslims, which is true because they are.
I don't
This is
know.
what they
I'm just saying, like, logically, if I was just to do a like just a
yeah.
thought, like this is just a thought experiment, that will be the result. I don't know if that's happening, but I know I
No,
know I know
I want to
non-Muslim, I
bring
know
you
the
a
Muslim
story
men are
where that's
marrying non,
happening.
and then so like, but it's
Yeah,
halal, bro. I'm like, none of these Christians are chaste, bro. So don't give me that nonsense,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Like you just wanna, yeah. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100 here.
But there are sisters who have come out and said, "I want to marry this non-Muslim guy from work." Now, that issue was brought up by none other than Yasir Qadi in a video in his mosque. Forgot what I think it's called Epic Mosque,
Yeah,
and he's like, "Sisters, a sister came, and her parents came to him and was like, look, he should marry a non-Muslim." He's like, "Okay, why?" It's because, um, she wanted to no matter what, and she met him at work. And then his answer was to the audience, and this is what happens. How can we blame them? We put them in this situation, right? But that's what I thought. And I guess that leads into red pill mindset though. Whether he realized or not that it's because they're at work, they're becoming it's a fitna for them, they're falling in love with non-Muslim men, blah 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 blah. But when I really think about it, and this shows how much my mindset has changed recently, it doesn't make sense when you know. Maybe it's because she had this weaker iman. I don't know her, but is it because she couldn't control her desires because there was a really attractive guy at the work and she fell in love with him, wants to marry him, or was it because she saw a really kind and gentle man in comparison to the way her culture and Muslims around her and Muslim men were? And at work, obviously, she's around this guy. So there is a real fitna where she's always talking to this guy friendly, but he's sweet, he's charming. Maybe it is because he has experience with multiple women. Maybe because a lot of guys are a bit more awkward, some, but maybe not. But I
yeah.
don't know.
That
Yeah, but
that's
yeah,
yeah.
but
That
that's the
that's just
argument as well. That's the argument they use is because they are like that because they've been with other men, other women, and men. Muslim men have no experience. That's why they're not as charming. I also find that a bit dumb.
so
You
practicing
build
women
character.
want a player. Like
Yeah.
practicing, like what are you
Yeah,
talking about, bro?
there's so
Like
much twisted
it's
thought
like
into that. Like this narrative is really dumb.
that.
But I would say it's because she actually found someone who listens to her every day.
Hmm.
And again, not to justify it. What she did is haram, straight up. She married a non-Muslim,
No, no, no. Like,
and
yeah, but this, yeah, we're
and
not.
that
We
makes
just
sense though.
wanna just, yeah, we wanna just like think beyond just the the
Now
surface
I've
level. You know what I mean?
seen it now. The more I work, because I have
Yeah.
to now work in with different people, especially with my business, we have to meet other people as well. And some of them are sisters who are like highly qualified, educated. They're businesswomen, they're tax accountants, they're lawyers,
Hmm.
but they have such like friendly, bubbly relationships with their male non-Muslim colleagues. Now I get you around them, but I think a lot of it stems from these guys are really kind, understanding, and attentive, and the other non-Muslim guys around them are very harsh and off-putting. And maybe, just maybe,
I mean the other way around,
that
as in like the Muslims
yeah,
harsh. Yeah.
yeah, the Muslims are harsh and
Yeah.
off-putting,
Yeah. Okay.
and maybe their own families are like that as well, and the men, like they're not seeing
Hmm.
real Islam being taught. The thing they don't realize is that non-Muslim guy also has no faith. So he might be nice and kind, but he's not going to help you in
Hmm.
the akhirah. Neither is he going to give you those same rights as a Muslim man would. But a lot of them are willing to just forget that because at least he'll probably treat me well. But a Muslim
Yeah.
guy will abuse me. But where does that come from? That comes from also extreme content you see online of not every guy is like that. But you see Muslim guys online
Hmm.
always berating sisters over and over and over again.
Yeah. And if they,
Saying, yeah,
yeah, and they're radicalizing the average Muslim man, and then
yeah,
he takes on that conduct of behavior towards the Muslim woman, then you're only just like expediting it for her to go to the hands of the non-Muslim, bro. Like
yeah,
that's like you need to own that. Like the men need to own that, bro. Because if the women are staring away, like and you also have like, and you know it's like haram. Like say other communities, they don't have that, right? So if like it's they don't have like this, it's from Allah. It's not like we created this, right? So that the Muslim woman is supposed to marry a Muslim man. So if they're still doing it, then that's a reflection on us, bro. Like
Yeah,
Muslim men are saying,
100%.
like you chase them
If you're
out
woman focus, yeah,
to
if you're woman
even to
focus,
the
even yeah,
detriment of their akira, bro. Like that should speak volumes of like how bad things are that they like that they done that. It's not like other communities, so they could be like Latino or um, African American or whatever, and then they've chosen to like go outside of their people to marry or like that could just be like for many reasons, but they don't have like actual like there's no consequences for them in the hereafter like that you have to marry within your own like faith group or their own whatever the ethnicity or whatever. So we have that. Like I know we're comparing like culture to a religion, but the fact that people are making these decisions that speaks volumes. Like and there would be a small percentage. Like yeah, it would be like it's just like her like a mom, blah blah blah. But largely, bro, like it would have been due to experiences within their own family, wider people that would have pushed them, bro.
yeah,
It's
because
not
yeah,
something like a it's like it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't happen like that. There has to have been like severe breakdowns for that to be occurring, and if especially it's going to be like on bigger numbers.
yeah,
Um, but I think it
because
is
that does
interesting though,
yeah.
because I think you're saying like it could be like um because once again like it's yeah the UK's got like kind of dominating. So we're looking at UK. I don't know. We can broaden it out, but you're saying like it's 90% like from the Indian subcontinent. Like that's the people
Oh, for
like the
Muslims,
destiny
yeah,
for
for
the
Muslims it's
Muslims.
over 90%.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Okay.
the percentage of Muslims are from the Indian subcontinent
Yeah. Okay.
are like 90%. Like as we chat, I'll just bring you up as well, just double check. But he is for
Yeah.
sure. And then the rest are other minority communities or reverts.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So it was just interesting. With that brother that I spoke that lived a few years in the UK. He's it's like from Arab background. He was actually because I think like he was saying like Arabs have a like this perception or this like stereotype that they're like harsher with their women, and he's like, but he goes it's not actually the case. But his observation was that um people from the Indian subcontinent, like Muslims, like they do have a more harsher approach to their women. I don't know how true that is. I'm obviously not of that community, but that was just his observation. Like that, like the whole thing about like women like treat them like the rib. Like if you push too hard, like you will break it. It needs to be like gentle with because that approach like doesn't really exist. And I don't know. Do you think that that could be because like in the West we're treated where even like we're taught like men and women are like pretty much treat them the same. Like even if you go to primary school, I don't know if you went to maybe you went to a Islamic primary school, so maybe you didn't
No,
get
no, I
the
went to
experience.
normal. It was only high school that I went to
Like how
Islamic school
okay,
for
cool.
boys. But throughout
Yeah,
childhood, it
but
was
basically, yeah,
yeah,
you're treated to be taught treated the same, and maybe he goes amongst like he knows like amongst the non-Muslims like they don't like they just treat them like guys basically. So there's that loss of kind of softness when it comes to like women because that's just how you're taught and like especially in the workforce you just compete. It's like you both of you are just workers like or both of you is employed like you there is no oh use kitty gloves with the Laura or something like that. It's just like a
that's actually a really good point because
and
growing
could that
up,
yeah
yeah, we were treated kind of like equals, but women were shown softness but in a strange way. So let me give an example. Let's say we
okay
run a race, right? All the boys are going to beat most of the girls. Not all the girls, but most of the girls. The boys are going to beat them simply because they're guys in a race when you're like 10, 12 years old.
mm,
But the girl who happens to be the fastest and beats most of the boys, they will say, "Come on, boys, you should be able to beat them. Look at this girl. Look, if girls can beat you, ha ha ha." The teacher will say that, whether it's a male or female teacher, but usually female.
yeah
So she kind of, yeah. So uplifting the girl while pushing the guy down, but we're supposed to be equal, right? But no, they tell us you should be better than the woman, but she's better than you. And I we got that a lot. And then so what that does is internally it tells the guy that either you raise, depending on what the kid is and how what he goes through in his life, either
Mm.
raise women on a high pedestal or hate women because you're always going to be treated as less than them, which is such a strange thing as a child in a state school in most of UK's, because that's where feminism really does come in.
But
Because
you should
that's
be
so
beating her though. So like, what's the
yeah, no,
problem,
no.
bro?
Here's the thing. Yeah,
get
look,
get
this is the
better.
thing though. But when you beat her,
Yeah,
you should go easy on her.
yeah.
And so there's this weird message you're sending. You should be better than the woman. Oh, but when you beat the woman, it's undeserved.
Mm.
And it was really weird. And I did have that growing up until I went to old boys school. You can't just leave it and forget about it. But it doesn't change that in the back of your mind that it's kind of unfair, and it feels like the world's unfair to men. When reality is man up. But obviously, man up within Islam, we our definition of what it means to be a man is slightly different because our principles are different. But you're not taught how to, and that really did frustrate me growing up. It's like, well, men are supposed to be more emotionally resilient. They're supposed to be stronger. But when you are shown to have strength of a woman, I was told directly, even by my teachers as a kid, you shouldn't do that. Or it's not fair. Or you beat her. Or how does it feel like picking on a girl? But
Yeah,
why are we playing tag rugby? Why are we playing tag rugby with the girls? If I
yeah,
knock her down, I was told to be gentle with her. But if I lost to her, I would literally be mocked for losing to her by teachers, whether they're men or not, whether men
yeah,
even
yeah,
puberty.
yeah,
But so then I beat them. But now I'm cautious. I can't use my strength. Even though we're kids, we're kind of similar in strength. We're really not at the same time.
yeah,
Especially when we hit people, it's just over. But you're told off for showing it, so it's so confusing for the guy. So I understand. I do get where red pill comes in as you get a bit older in
yeah.
the UK. But what happens with Islam is we are taught we have authority over women. Now there's a balance to that. There's wisdom, there's kindness, and there's firmness. But you're not really taught how to. All you're taught is you have authority. So now all these years, women have told you in the UK, at least in the UK from my experience, that women are equal to you, and even if you are better than them, they can be better than you, but you know you actually are. In at least physically in some departments, you are actually better in some ways. But when you show that, you're told off. But Islam is not telling me, no, I have authority. So now you go to a whole other extreme. And the people who are championing this are scorned men, red pill guys who have bad experience with women.
Right.
Somehow,
But before we
yeah,
go, before we get into
yeah,
that, because that's like a whole
yeah,
other forest that like we'll get there. We'll jump in there. But yeah, just going back. Initially, as you were saying all this stuff, I was like, nah, man, this is a sub story. But then I did remember like playing kickball.
yeah,
I think I was like 11, so probably grade 5 or something.
yeah,
And then like I was really good. I was massive, bro. Like very young. But anyway, I just belted the ball, bro. Just smacked it, and then and there's a girl that was rolling the ball to me, and it smashed her square in her face.
yeah,
Like, and I didn't mean it, right? It wasn't intentional. But this teacher didn't really like me anyway. She's female, bro. She sat me on the bench, started screaming in my face and berating me. Was like, "Well, you're gonna kick it." I'm like, I didn't even do it on purpose, but
yeah.
that didn't matter because like I was a dude, a guy, to the woman, and then
Little
like
girl's crying.
yeah, he's crying like I
Literally
was
crying.
plotting her demise, bro. Like scheming to I was trying to hit her over. I'm really trying to smash her
Yeah,
in the face, but that's just I think that's yeah, that's kind of normal, I guess, especially if the
yeah.
teacher has that type of mentality as well. Um,
But it's also, again,
but I
like
didn't really
you are
think.
right.
I
It
just
does
wanted to
become
win
kind
because
of
I was really competitive. I just wanted to win, but
yeah.
I didn't say I want to hurt her, like just got hurt in the process.
The thing
But
is
yeah, it
that
just reminded me of that.
yeah. So I want to give like some understanding to like the red pill because I'm not just here to hate on men either. I am here.
We're not even. I think
Yeah,
we've been
we're
pretty.
not hating on either. Yeah, we're being balanced. So I want to bring
But
up
I'm
different
thinking
understanding.
because for me it's very simple, man. Like especially being non-Muslim and then being Muslim. To be a Muslim man and to do things in the halal way, you need to make you need to sell that it is more than worthwhile doing those sacrifices and marrying a sister, doing it the proper way, providing, and you need to be happy and you need to think that that's a worthwhile mission. and anything that contracts from that, like that takes away from that, I feel like it's just going to be bad news. And what's
Yeah,
my reasons for this? What my reasons for this is simple because if you grow up in the West here, dude, imagine a Muslim man like his whole life is Muslim, right? Born Muslim, whatever, and he's seeing like he's like friends getting girlfriends, or even when they get older, it's just like it's just the casual dating and everything like that, and it's just like whatever. And then on top of that, he starts consuming content from big Muslim influencers saying like basically like Muslim women ain't nothing. Like I wanted to swear, but ain't nothing. Okay, so now this brother is in the West and he has an array of, and he's just saying like uh he's seeing his friends, non-Muslim friends, and they're all like getting into a relation, they're all being happy, whatever, and it's all easy, and it's all what and then, but he's a Muslim and he wants to keep on the halal way, but then now he's thinking like, well, Muslim women ain't worth it.
mm. I
So
think
what is the what is going to be the logical outcomes that come from that? Because you're telling him like, okay, like paying them, paying for the expenses once you marry, and paying their marriage expenses. You're saying like, and then on top of that, the sister's not even going to be good. Like, why would it's like we're already going against the grain because the Muslim man is being taught to, because his religion tells him and his love for Allah, that he needs to do all of these things. But then you're surrounded by a whole people that don't have any of those responsibilities or duties, and they're still entering relationships, and they're not really hearing about these women being evil. I mean, you could be like if you go down like the whole incel path, but for the most part, not really. So it just makes it even more difficult, and there's already like so much fitna around, and now you're saying like these women ain't worth it. So of course it's like I'm not paying 30K mud or 20K, 10K mud. I'm not paying for the wedding, and then on top of that, well, she's not gonna respect me. Like
mm,
that's the messaging. So what's gonna be the outcome? Is it gonna? It's just one way. I
I
just don't
think
see any other way
yeah,
other than not diverting towards, well, I'm just gonna just hook up with Stacy, or I'm just gonna give a dawa, or even worse, like he's just gonna not care. Like he's just like, I don't care, bro. Like, because he's
yeah.
like, what males don't have
Yeah.
virginity.
Oh my
Like,
God, yeah,
so like what? I'm just looking from that point of view because,
yeah.
and in my mind, I don't know, in my delusion, but I just thought like because like the like in Islam, like there's like zina's on the table, right? So I thought like everyone would be on the same program, and you're like that like kind of boy or girl would being like, because you already know what the outcome is, and they're all kind of being programmed and trained to fulfill that role when the time is,
You know,
and
for my,
and it
this is gonna be
wasn't,
interesting.
because I think because like, okay, you have a boy, like you need to groom and cultivate that boy. So when he's an adult, like he wants to and he's willing and he's ready to fulfill the roles, because you know that he has to take on the major expenses for his wife, and this A, B, C, D, and E, and vice versa with the sister, like, because, but that's not what's happening. Instead of, no, I don't know. Okay, that's just, maybe it's happening, but I'm just I just thought like it would
Yeah,
be so, like everyone knows. It's almost like trying to get to the NBA. You know, you need to go to Division 1 high school, college, and then you get dropped because everyone knows what the end goal. For the non-Muslims, they don't have that because they know like they can just date on whatever and things like that. But not only are we not like kind of building, cultivating these boys to get into a place where they want to take on that responsibility, they're being actively taught not to because these women ain't worth it. And on top
yeah.
of that, like, you know, marry a non-Muslim, maybe get yourself a nice Christian or something.
I think
I just
I'll
don't
play
say like,
devil's
how does that
advocate.
end up being like a good thing?
Thing is, I'll play devil's advocate here. Okay,
All
I
right,
think
all right, go Team
that
Shaitan for this.
thing is,
Stuff it all.
So that the way it's been dealt with, because all those issues are like legitimate issues and have been, especially in the last 10 years more, because as cost of living, gold and everything increased, problem is culture didn't adapt with it. It stayed the same. So giving a girl a high mahar, a decent mahar, a house, even a car, or maybe whatever your culture says, maybe gold, it still kind of made sense because it worked. But in the last 10 to 15 years, as inflation grew, price grew, the culture didn't adapt with it, and a lot of the elders wanted to stay the same. And this is me talking from experience of I don't know of a single human being in my life from my culture and similar cultures that did not have some like quite a hard time trying to negotiate marriage costs unless they were a revert. So my friends who are reverts that got married, pretty simple, because even the family that they married into, even though they were born Muslims, were like, well, he's alone, he doesn't have anyone to help him with his finance, we'll be merciful to him, we'll let go. Or if they were marrying someone outside their culture, which with most cultures is taboo, which shouldn't be at all, but it is. So let's say Bengali marrying a Turkish, an African marrying a Pakistani. So then they're quite relaxed as well. They'll
Okay.
be like, okay, cultures clash, we're not going to make them pay this much. Which is
Hmm.
just personal experience, but I think a lot of people, especially in the UK, will agree to that. Even other cultures, if they're born Muslims, unfortunately, this isn't really a problem, not in the last 20, 30 years. This is a recent thing that's gone worse. It has been a problem, of course. High mahars and stuff is always there. Even Umar radiallahu anhu mentioned it was getting so high in his time, he had to make a speech in pulpit. But of course, his sister then called him out and said, it's a right from Allah. I'm paraphrasing. It's a right from Allah. And he said, okay, you know what? You spoke the truth. I can't actually tell you to lower your mahar. But it wasn't just once. It became such a problem that he decided to make a speech. And then the advice of the Prophet ﷺ was there. The best of mahars are the one that is cheapest or the easiest, basically. So we do really have a current problem, but the solution to it should never have been highlighting that and making all sisters and the problem and also the families the problem and the marriage culture a problem, because all that's done is bred more hate and more fear. And then we come back to your problem, which, dude, this is becoming a serious issue now, where guys are like, what's the point of even getting married? Some, I know a lot of good guys who genuinely, they don't think you're marrying Christians or non-Muslims, they just don't want marriage.
Yeah,
They just
yeah,
don't
yeah.
care.
Yeah,
There's no
because
point.
and of
Yeah,
course, and can you blame them?
yeah,
Look at the programming, bro.
yeah.
I'm
Like,
saying like
and
the whole war on terror 9/11 thing. It's like war
yeah,
on nikah or war.
and by Muslims, it's Muslims
Yeah,
doing the war.
by Muslims, bro. That's the Dick Cheney. That's the George W. Bush. That like, and they think they're doing a service
Yeah,
for the Ummah. Come on, like you're literally like scared. Like everyone's shook now. It seems like Muslim men are scared of marriage. Muslim sisters are scared of marriage. Muslim sisters are scared of Muslim men, and Muslim men are scared of Muslim women. What a
the
beautiful
thing is,
recipe. The chef Shaitan, bro.
yeah,
Bro, he's got the soul babe, bro.
the reality is most of these brothers and sisters have probably never even spoken to each other before, like
Yeah,
about marriage. Like,
100%.
if yeah, most of these guys have never entered a marriage
That's
before.
what I'm saying. It's like
Even on,
war on terror,
yeah,
bro.
it
Like,
is.
look at him, bro.
Yeah,
He's got a beard.
even though I said that, there's problems with like costs and negotiation. It's not really even from the individuals. It's families and elders and all that. Because like I'm saying, like culture did not progress with it. It's getting better, but the problem is the fear mongering into the people that are supposed to be getting married
Mm,
is delaying it even further because they're not even trying. They're not entering negotiation. They don't want to meet. They don't want to do the talks. They don't want to make a
no.
marriage CV or profile. They're like just like, well, we're cooked. Everyone's cooked.
Yeah, because
And
everyone's got 1,000 red flags, bro, and they're just waiting for
yeah,
for the sister or the brother to say that one thing and be like, nah, man,
yeah.
that's a red flag. I'm like,
And,
I just said Assalamu
all
alaikum.
these,
How's Assalamu alaikum a red flag? Nah, it's the way you said it, bro. It seems
yeah,
oppressive.
all these marriage coaches online, all these marriage coaches online, bro. What's it called? Ask him, like, there was this sister who said, ask him what his greatest hardship was, a proper like work interview question. Ask him what his greatest hardship was and how he would deal with it in this situation. Give him a scenario and this and that. I get it sometimes asking scenarios, but question like how, give me an example where you lost your temper and how you would deal with that. Well, in all honesty, like, why would I answer that? Like, because I'm not going to show you my worst side. I don't get these
I
questions.
mean,
Some
to
of these
be fair,
questions.
you do get asked that question on job interviews.
Yeah, that's the thing.
and
It's a
and
job
and
interview.
yeah,
Yeah,
and no one's saying to like, nah, bro, you're gonna highlight my website, skip, like, bro, the
yeah.
interview's
But
done, you know.
that,
But
yeah.
like,
The
and
thing
that's
is,
just for a
how
job,
would
bro.
you
They can
answer
just
that?
sack you like the next day or not hire or
Yeah.
whatever. But marriage, like, I mean, I think there is should be some type like that type of vetting on
Because
that
how
type of level.
now I'll ask you then. How would you ask that question? Because if someone came up to me
I
and
know
said,
I've changed
"What do
on
you
this
normally do?"
topic.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong. I'm not some.
yeah,
I didn't arrive at this position all of a sudden.
yeah,
Now I'm like holding down, and I'm like talking
yeah.
down. I'm just growing from my own development and growth
Mm,
and this because obviously I'm also because I wasn't a Muslim for majority of my
yeah,
life. I have to like like shed all of these like jahil kind of mentalities and concepts and things that I've been conditioned with in order to do this. So that's why I'm even more shocked. I come into
yeah,
Islam and I see basically the same rhetoric that I was seeing in like amongst like peak kuffar activity, bro. Like, pickup artists, all of this type of thing, and then
mm,
it's complete. It's just been repackaged, bro. I've seen this before. I was a Muslim. Like they're just repackaging it and they're putting a couple of hadith and this and that, and then some Arabic phrases, and they're just exporting what the kuffar brought in the
yeah,
mid 2000s and above, and then like kind of it transformed into this current iteration of it right now.
yeah.
And it just,
Because to me, a lot of these questions, marriage questions, some are necessary, but a lot of them
but
they don't explain to me how you would expose someone's character
mm,
because it can simply be a lie. All I need to do is smile, be good, and show character. The only way you're gonna
yeah.
know
So
someone's
we're
character is
getting
through
into
character.
like the
Yeah,
finer things. Like you have your own mechanism in place. Like you're tapped into a community, or seems like most people are tapped into a community, so you can do your own due
yeah,
diligence, all that type of thing. That would kind of what you're getting at is like someone who doesn't have like a real background reference because they're like a rebel or something like that. But
yeah,
generally, there is a like a some type of network that people can tap into to get like more definitive answers,
yeah.
and it's not some dude selling a vetting course online.
Mm.
That's more powerful. Like you having an uncle or an auntie or someone even a blood relative that knows that. That's way more of a powerful kind of reference. And then it's on you to kind of vibe it out and things like that. But just going back to you were saying like the economics and the finances of it,
Yeah.
but that's not even the main argument now. Now I'm saying like even if you do have the finances and economics, saying like this just ain't worth it, bro. That's what they're saying now. Because look, bro, look at all these clips I'm finding, and don't you think like vice versa that could happen on the other end? Look at all of the mad jahil things that I'm clipping these dudes saying of males, right, Muslim men, and then just circulating around that. You don't think they would find content like that?
There's more than enough.
That's what I,
There's more than enough. There's more than enough stupid guys doing stupid things. There's
bro.
more than enough.
What would you say in the dudes?
There's probably more. In all honesty, I think you'd have to search harder to find a dodgy
Yeah,
sister in a niqab doing something weird than a guy who just a typical Muslim doing something dumb on the street.
that's
It's
what I'm saying.
much easier to find a stupid guy on the
Dude, you
street doing
showed
something.
me a clip. It was like some sports influence, some gym influencer. We won't say his name, and
Yeah, and that's
and it
common.
was
That's
like,
the
what? I'm
trend.
training to beat my wife
Oh yeah, yeah,
as his hook, bro. This is a
yeah,
bearded guy, and we're gonna be like, oh man, I scoured all of the ends of the internet and I scraped up some niqabi saying something that's not even mildly even crazy. But you
yeah.
got a mainstream guy, almost a million followers, talking about I trained to beat my wife. When he fully knows the stereotype of Muslims amongst kuffar is that they oppress their women.
He's doing it for that.
And
He's
you
actually
and
replying
at the
before it's
same
rape bait.
time, this
Yeah.
dude saying, I'm doing this to restore the men of this ummah. Do me a favor, bruv. Do me a favor, mate. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, this ain't working, bro. This ain't working.
Yeah.
And we continue on this path, bro. There's only going to be one conclusion. It's like,
What's sad is
dude, Tommy
he's coming.
Robinson, like, bro, he couldn't pay. All of Tommy's cronies, bro, couldn't pay to get the return on investment of destroying the Muslims in the West than what we're doing
So
right
like,
now with all of this stuff,
yeah,
bro. I'm telling you, bro. All of those guys, Douglas Murray, if they all the think takes, dude, Netanyahu would be giving out mad dividends, bro. He'd be dishing out mad dividends, bro. We'd be getting crazy salaries just to continue on this, and he's getting this for free, bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know, like, sure, you guys can put a comment on this video if you share what your thoughts are on the matter, but to me, it's just very crystal clear of what's happened. I think it did get pretty heated in this. I don't know. It'll be
No,
interesting.
it's still pretty mild because we didn't
Yeah,
get as deep as we could have.
yeah,
But
yeah.
honestly, as
I don't
someone
think it
who
was that
is,
heated. To be fair, I'm pretty chill, but
I mean, we're both influencers. We're both male Muslim influencers.
I don't. I did. That sounds funny to say that. Maybe you are, but
Yeah,
not me.
yeah. I mean, we're online. I mean, we're posting, so
Okay.
we ended up, yeah, we are by
Yeah.
default. And
Okay.
me, I'm in that niche of technically like masculinity a bit more because it's very centered around fitness nowadays. Nowadays, it's very heavily centered around fitness. The new Qawwam movement and all this stuff.
Let me ask you an important question. Can you be a successful Muslim uh, influencer? Like, can you be a successful Muslim coach in the fitness space and not default to the nonsense red pill talking points where you need to when you need to slam dunk on our sisters and beat down on them? Is that even possible? Because that seems to be the formula.
Yeah, I'll prove it. I'll prove it. I'll make it work, inshallah. But it's, they are brothers. There's literally only
I,
one
I,
Muslim
I
brother.
know, I know. I'm saying though because I know you don't do none of that stuff,
Yeah,
but that seems to be all of the ones that have like the crazy amount of followers. And I know I'm kind of stereotyping. I'm sure there's ones that don't
no.
do this.
s-
That
The
seems to be
sad
the
thing is they don't
blueprint,
start
bro.
like that.
Unfortunately, that seems to be the blueprint.
Yeah.
You lift weights, you talk down on sisters, berate Muslim women, bro. You're doing numbers, man.
The thing is, the sad thing is some of these guys didn't start like that. Because again, they're in my space, so I followed them for a while. I'm like, what just happened, man? What made you switch? But obviously, that got them more views. So obviously, I don't know his intention, but that is the one that got the most views, and that's the ones that he keeps doing to get more views. So it's unfortunate that a lot of them have grabbed onto it for the sake of the algorithm. And another guy, and I've seen it, it's the same guy. It's the same guy that I sent you the video. He justified one of his responses by saying, I do this to instill ghayra in you and to convince you to do better. I need to use these harsh words and I need to use this style to put the fear of Allah in you. I was like, what kind of a the levels of twisting and manipulation they need to go into to justify it to themselves. Like forget their audience. These guys believe their own delusions. It's crazy at this point.
Complete slaves of the algorithm, bro. That's your rub, bro. The algorithm. Let's be real, bro. Let's quit the BS. Let's keep it let's keep it 100. Raise a gira. Bro, you saying these women ain't like they're trash? Like, why would you even protect them? The way
Exactly.
you're talking. Am I gonna
They
protect
don't
trash? You told me this is trash. I'm convinced this is trash. Why would I protect it? And you're talking about raising gira. If you're gonna raise gira, you need to be talking positively.
they don't know the thing is a lot of these guys are so ignorant. They just grab on buzzwords. They don't get it. They don't even know the meaning of certain words. They just grab it because it's
if
a
I
buzzword and it sounds good and it hits the algorithm.
That's
That's
what I
it.
noticed, bro.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, sadly, if I see like if I see words like rajula or ghira or qawam, it's usually connected to some idiot red pill dude.
He doesn't know
That
the definition of it. When I really think about it, like I'm sure I've used it, but I went through my content in the last 30 videos or something. I'm talking about Instagram because they're the short form. I've never actually used that word once. And then the time I used it was I was trying to sell something. And I said, "Do you want to become a Qawwam?" And I was like, "Oh shoot!" So it really, I'm glad that I wasn't using it that much. But I'm like, how much? Like even I end up using it in the wrong context. Only when I was trying to sell like one of my programs last year, the coaching, I was like, we want to become a real man, real Qawwam. I was like, wow, and it's so cringe looking at it because I don't like it. But I know it's the even me, like I need to stop this. I think your voice is gone.
Sorry, am I back? I'm
Yeah.
back. Yeah, yeah. I actually turned it off. Um, yeah, they've stripped all of its meaning and replaced it with junk now. Unfortunately, it's just like it's a empty term now. Fortunately, especially in these circles at least. And I know this like it's not everyone, but it just seems to be like just a big trend, man. And I just kind of fear like what the outcomes are going to be, and especially like if I didn't know, like I'm having have a conversation things like that. And when I'm like seeing that it's affecting like brothers that I know that are good, like they were raised well and they're born Muslim, all this type of thing, and I'm like, oh man, this ain't good. This ain't good. Like I was hoping it was just one of my little, you see a small sample size, but it's actually not confirming the larger trend. I hope that's what it is, but man, yeah, the way things are going, man, people are just slaves of the algorithm, and then just more and more people are just going to be influenced by this. And
Thing, one thing I saw because I met some of them, being a very small, very small fitness influencer at the time making this video, but still being in the same circles, I did get to meet some. Now, the sad thing is, you can see when you speak to them, they're nice, they're actually good brothers, but when they post online, it's an attempt to run away from their own sins and their past sins. And I see it very clearly because some of these guys have had crazy past. Some of them even post it when they sell their programs. Um, I was I was astray, and Allah found me and guided me back. And his picture of him with a few girls, but their faces are blurred, with his arms around them. Or it's him smoking weed, or it's him rapping and doing some weird stuff. Sounds off. And then it's and Allah found me, and now he's muscular, ripped. So he's gone through the physical transformation. He's wearing a hat or a thobe, and he's walking in Medina, and he has the spiritual transformation. Like, so sign up to my course so I can show you blah blah blah. Right? It's a
mm,
good marketing tactic, but they genuinely are brothers who have not fixed their own selves yet, and they don't have the other, they don't have the training to speak publicly, they don't have the knowledge yet, but obviously they garnered a good following because they had a good transformation, or they've posted consistently, whatever, right? I'm sure they have some good stuff they post,
mm.
but I clearly see it as an attempt to run away from their own sins instead of improving, learning from them, fixing them, going and gaining knowledge. They've built a following, so now it's time to bash on other people because somehow that makes them feel good about themselves. That's just my 2 cents.
Mm.
After meeting some of them and seeing the types of stuff they post, they're clearly not mature enough or ready to be giving any form of dawah other than through the character. That's the minimum they could have done. But clearly, even the characters needs work because of the words they say and the way they act and dress. But it's clearly an attempt to avoid their own mistakes by highlighting others.
Yeah. So when these people say like every accusation is a confession, you're pretty much
Exactly.
saying like that's on point. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame, man. So inshallah, the things will turn, and there is a point in time where like this stuff doesn't exist anymore. The gender wars kind of quieten down, and then and it can be replaced with actual positive messaging and views. Because I know positivity doesn't sell for the most part. It doesn't get clicks, and that
Yep.
you're supposed to be a day, so you shouldn't worry about clicks. You should worry about you know
Yeah. The message itself.
improving the dynamics in the community, removing it of all the toxic trends and things like that. But if you prioritize the algorithm, you're not going to run with this positivity thing. You're going to continually go find the extreme 1% and present it like, and then you're going to make yourself like look like the hero, and you're talking and you're denouncing it. But all you're doing is just sowing further um, discord in the community, and pushing, and you don't care about the downflow effects of what you're saying. And inshallah, we don't like inshallah, like there's not going to be other people criticizing us like the way we're kind of criticizing this, or we kind of
Yeah.
are shielded from these traps and these things that can lure you, and kind of mess your intentions, and you start prioritizing clicks and dollars at the expense of like harming the Muslims. So yeah, may Allah protect us from that and shield us from that.
I mean,
I mean, I think that's a good place to leave it, man. Um, yeah, I really like this. I think this was we got really. This is probably the most serious topic. I mean, no, we've covered other serious topics to be fair, but I think what we both do is serious. But yeah, this was just more of a something observing, observing something, a trend that's been quite destructive, and I think we've both gone on our own journey of. I know for me, I've gone on my own journey where I've like shifted quite heavily on how I see things and perceive things on this, and I think others inshallah will benefit on that journey as well.
yeah. No, inshallah, I think we need to speak about. We're definitely gonna speak more on this because as it just seems to be getting worse.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I don't see improvements at all. So I think the only way is literally what you said. Like someone has to come and show positivity.
yeah. Now we're going to be labeled Muslim simps and white knights.
Yeah,
Brothers, this is Muslim Unfiltered. Why are you? This is simping.
yeah.
Muslim men simping Unfiltered.
We're just supposed to talk about how hard life is for men, and that's it.
Right, like it was interesting that supposedly certain cultures in the West Africa, like they already they have this thing that like for a man, like being a husband, being a father, like is difficult. So they don't sugarcoat it from the beginning. So they already have that understanding that that role that's what it entails, and so you shouldn't seek pats on the back in this world so much, or kind of make it easy. And I thought that was quite an interesting perspective because now it feels like we just want everything to. I know it's not easy. It is but I'm saying like, but that's how it is. But we're being told like it shouldn't be this.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I think that kind of reframe, I think that will kind of snap people out of this mindset where they want this whole kind of marriage thing to be like Amazon, Prime.
uh,
Like ain't gonna be like that.
I think what would definitely help there is they also have a community of men who think exactly the same. So even if there is a time for hardship, you know that other brother is in the same boat as you, or he thinks
Mm,
like you, and he's someone you can lean on. So
yeah,
I think community, man, the correct community is where
yeah,
everything works.
yeah.
You
Especially
need
and then
people
yeah,
around you.
the wider influences. Like I was growing up in the
Yeah,
West, we say like, well, he didn't have to go through that. But I'm like, but you're a Muslim, bro. Like this is what's written for you. Like you'd
yeah.
rather not be a Muslim and get the perceived ease of like how they navigate relationships. Nah, bro. Like that's just how it is. All right, I'll leave it there. Assalamu
Yeah.
alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.